Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Whitney Van Laningham, and one of my favorite characters in Quantumania is Veb, the squidgy little blob obsessed with Scott's 7 holes. But some of my biggest questions after watching Ant-Man 3 were, how does Veb's ooze work exactly? Is he the only creature in the quantum realm who can make it? And are there any consequences that arise for those who drink it? What is Veb's favorite movie, and why is it 2003's Holes based on the novel by Louis Sachar starring Shia LaBeouf? Okay, the answer to that last one is like super obvious, but today I'm gonna use all the sci-fi knowledge I have in me to break down what that ooze do in Quantumania. First of all, Veb's character had an absolutely perfect arc, no notes, 13 out of 10. He saw holes, he wanted holes, he got holes, he saved the day with those holes. His quest for holes is just so wholesome. Also, he's voiced by David Dastmalchian, who played Kurt in the previous 2 Ants. Voice acting is incredible because I never would have matched that silly little voice with this actor's serious headshots. Veb is an original MCU character created by Jeff Loveness just for Quantumania, so unfortunately there's nothing about him to speculate on from Marvel Comics. But real quick, I'll give you guys a brief rundown of this character from Ants 3. After landing in the quantum realm and separating from Hank, Janet, and Hope, Scott and Cassie find themselves face to face with a group of quantum people and creatures living inside this microscopic pocket dimension. These freedom fighters drag Cassie and Scott to a bonfire, where various freedom fighters of different species are chanting an alien language. They hold Scott down, wrench his jaw open, and force a jug of red ooze down his throat. After swallowing, he's able to understand each of the beings around him in perfect English, despite only hearing garbled sounds and strange dialects before. Then out pops Veb, who explains that the ooze Scott drank came from him. Basically, this guy is like the Kool-Aid Man mixed with the Rosetta Stone for multiversal languages. One of my first questions after watching this scene was, how does the ooze work? Like, I get it, you drink it and it makes it so that you and Broccoli Man can translate each other's conversations, but how long does it last? How does it translate so many languages? Based on the fact that Janet also drinks a shot of ooze at Krylar's bar, we can assume that the effects of the ooze aren't permanent. She's been away from the quantum realm for quite some time, so my guess is that all of the ooze has filtered out of her system at this point. It's unlikely that the Lang, Pym, Van Dyne family will keep these powers for very long now that they're back in regular old 616, and would need to re-up on the sauce before trying to speak and understand other languages again. I knew that Veb and the function of his ooze reminded me of something or someone from science fiction and fantasy lore, so I got down with some of my favorite media. Is that what I wrote? I got down with? I was clearly on NyQuil when I wrote this, Jesus Christ. That's like a Dare commercial. So I got down with some of my favorite media to find some answers. After rereading The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and rewatching Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beasts, I also have some theories about how Veb's ooze might function. In The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, a human man named Arthur Dent is saved by an alien named Ford Prefect when Earth is destroyed by Vogons to create a bypass for the intergalactic superhighway. Aboard the Vogon's ship, Ford shoves a Babel Fish in Arthur's ear so that he can understand the Vogon's gargling language. Like Scott Lang was force-fed red ooze that definitely came out of a weird little guy, Arthur Dent is forced to shove a tiny yellow fish inside of his ear. Douglas Adams borrowed the idea of the Babel Fish from the Book of Genesis, chapter 11, verses 1 through 9, which tells the story of the first large group of people created by God on this earth. These people were stronger together because they spoke the same language and tried to build a tower that stretched to heaven to make a name for themselves in fear of being separated. God saw that they were unstoppable and decided that he would f with them by scattering them across the globe and confusing their languages so that no 2 smaller groups spoke or understood the same words. Adams' creature does the reverse of that. It takes the scattered languages of all life forms across the galaxy and makes them understandable for anyone with a Babel Fish. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy tells Arthur that
the Babel Fish is small, yellow, leech-like, and probably the oddest thing in the universe.
It feeds on brainwave energy received not from its own carrier, but from those around it. It absorbs all unconscious mental frequencies from this brainwave energy to nourish itself with. It then excretes into the mind of its carrier a telepathic matrix, formed by combining the conscious thought frequencies with nerve signals picked up from the speech centers of the brain, which has supplied them. The practical upshot of all this is that if you stick a Babel Fish in your ear, you can instantly understand anything said to you in any form of language. The speech patterns you actually hear decode the brainwave matrix, which has been fed into your mind by your Babel Fish. I think that Veb's ooze works in a very similar way. If the ooze is able to absorb the brainwaves of those around it, it could then form a mindscape of thought frequencies that automatically translates all language in the drinker's vicinity. It actually kind of reminds me of the device that Cassie built to map the quantum realm from her grandpa's lab. The machine she built sends signals to the quantum realm to collect data and back, allowing her to map and study the QR without ever setting foot inside of it. Likewise, this ooze could be sending neurological signals to and from among the brains of those who drink it, allowing each party to speak with and understand each other clearly. I'm a lot of things, baby. Hungry, sweaty, curious about what it means to be a tree, but you know what I'm not? Tired, because I've got Sandland! Sandland's products focus on restoring the body's natural sleep rhythm in a sustainable, clean, and non-habit-forming way. There's a lot of sleep aids that just knock you out, but those don't actually help you wake up rested or train your body to naturally sleep again. The great thing about Sandland is that they help break the patterns of stress and anxiety before sleep so that you eventually won't need any sleep aids, including Sandland. Sandland focuses on the two key stages of sleep struggle: falling asleep at the beginning of the night and staying asleep throughout the night, which is why they've got Fall Asleep Plus and Stay Asleep Plus. Both supplements are made from a safe but highly effective formulation of L-theanine, magnesium citrate, valerian root, and CBN. CBN is the ingredient in a hemp plant that has been indicated to assist the body with sleeping naturally. It's non-habit forming and effective. You just take a tablet or two of Stay Asleep an hour before bed with a glass of water, then about 15 minutes before you want to fall asleep, chew 1 or 2 Fall Asleep tablets and let them dissolve in your mouth before swallowing. After a couple of weeks, you'll have reset your body's sleep program, and then you can be the peppy one at your office. Thanks so much to Sandland for sponsoring this video. Click the link in the description and use promo code NewRockstars to get 15% off your Sandland purchase. Like I said a few moments ago, Veb also reminds me of one of the characters from the incredibly beautiful animated series Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beasts. It's on Netflix if you haven't seen it yet. I'm going to be dropping some light Season 2 spoilers, but it's on Netflix, so if you haven't watched it yet, definitely check it out. This dude's name is Tad Mulholland, and he's a collective of tardigrades, aka water bears, who are able to communicate with your subconscious mind after you drink him. Kipo and her friends first meet him when they accidentally drink some of his fluids from a water fountain, giving him unfettered access to their brains. At first, Mulholland doesn't realize that he's hurting people, so he joyfully explains that once they ingest him, as many water bears are able to enter their mind, creating a dreamscape where he feeds off of their brain energy until they die. Once they help him realize that giving someone a cool dream isn't a great exchange for killing them, Mulholland changes his ways and decides to help his new friends with his abilities instead of hurting them. Using little Mulholland cocktails, Kipo and co are able to communicate with some unlikely mutants by using Mulholland's universal translating microorganisms as instantaneous middlemen. So, okay, there's fictional precedent to stories featuring organic universal translators, but having a semi-formed idea of how the ooze works doesn't answer all of my questions. Is Veb the only creature in the quantum realm capable of creating this ooze? There are 2 avenues here that are equally interesting to explore. If there is only one of Veb in the quantum realm, then we have to wonder how Krylar gets his supply of ooze. It's not like the Freedom Fighters are willingly giving it over to their opposition, so my guess is that they've either found a way to create a synthetic version, or they have a dwindling supply of Veb's ooze from a past trade. Or poor Veb got caught and milked long ago, and we're gonna get a gritty Andor-level Disney Plus series about his escape in like Phase 14. If Veb isn't the only one of his kind in the quantum realm, however, it does make me wonder if he's part of a larger hive mind with a unified network, or if he's more akin to a colony of bacteria. I'm leaning on the latter, as Veb seems to have a very individualized personality, and this could explain how both sides might have oozes with varying politics, but their abilities provide a common language for the folks of the quantum realm. Either way, this ooze, interestingly enough, could have also been a catalyst for the separation between the freedom fighters and those working with Kang. The Hitchhiker's Guide says, quote, "Meanwhile, the poor Babel Fish, by effectively removing all barriers to communication between different races and cultures, has caused more and bloodier wars than anything else in the history of creation. Likewise, the ooze could have potentially allowed Kang the ability to unite citizens of the quantum realm to his cause without previously being able to speak their various languages. Once given this tool, it would have made it easier for him to campaign for his position of ultimate power in the realm. Those who understood and disagreed with Kang's ruling could have broken off and formed the freedom fighters, while those who wanted to support him joined his united ranks, allowing him to acquire power and resources exponentially faster. In the hands of our heroes, multiversal interdimensional communication can be an incredibly helpful tool, but in the hands of any villain, that same gift could easily be weaponized. Those are just some of my theories about what that ooze do, but I want to know what you guys think in the comments. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Whitney Puppy, follow New Rockstars, subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis of everything you love, and thanks for watching. Bye!